Hello, creatures of the forest.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, that's you cute little fuzzy creatures. How are you all?
Good, thanks.
You good?
Wonderful.
Feeling mischievous.
Yeah, good. I think you're gonna need it. Gonna need it tonight, aren't you? So, yes. Hello. Thank you for coming. We have got a bunch of beautiful faces arrayed before us here. We'll just kind of go around, say hello to everyone. We have a long in the tooth veteran down there in the bottom. Hello, Julia. How are you doing?
Hi.
All the way from the mystical lands of Cormier, Echoes of War.
Wow.
Yeah,
I thought you were going to say downstairs, but yeah, okay.
that too. Less exotic than the Cormier campaign or Neo London for that matter. In the London Underground campaign.
That's true.
Hello's gonna get picked next. Nate. Hi, Nate. Our beautiful visitor from the lands of Rusketch. How are you doing?
Very good. Very
Wonderful.
good. Thank you for having me again.
We were so impressed with your goblin voices that we decided to bring you along to do some cutesy animal noises instead.
They're going to sound exactly the same.
Wonderful. And our two resident kind of new faces. So first up, hello Meg. How are you doing?
Yep, very good. Glad to be here again.
Yes, we are very pleased to have you. You caused more than enough chaos whilst being a wizard. So now we're going to make you a familiar. How's that?
Yeah, I kind of feel like it's almost a spiritual successor, you know?
Yes, absolutely. And last but not least, hello, Tim.
Hello.
Hello. I'm warning you ahead of time that this game is going to be a lot more green than the Fallout world. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing what you're doing with things that aren't heavily radiated.
Wonderful. I mean, radiation is green. It'll do.
That's true. Actually.
I can make it work.
Yeah, it's actually pretty much the same, really, isn't it? Thinking about it. Cool. So we are going to be playing a game tonight, a role-playing game, in fact. It's called The Witch is Dead. I've heard good things, and you lot have made cute, adorable noises when I've brought it up in conversation. So hopefully, yeah, we're all going to have some fun. This is a game, Witch is Dead. It's a game by Grant Howard, the Lord and Savior himself. We've played a couple of other Grant Howard games, recently, and yeah, so they're all good. So we're gonna do it again. We're gonna play another one. Who here has played Witch is Dead before? Put your hands up. No. Oh, we are all virgins. Virgins of the Pyre of Sacrifice. Cool. Well, in which case, who would like to know what this game's about?
Yes, please.
Oh, me.
Most definitely.
Wonderful. Once upon a time, there was a kind and wise and beautiful witch who lived in the forest with her familiars, and her life was peaceful and happy until a fucking witch hunter broke into her cottage and dragged her out and fucking murdered her! And now she's dead. But if you get revenge and kill him and bring his eyes to her corpse within a week, she'll come back to life. Also, you've heard, even if it doesn't work, at least he's dead. And so, we stood around the prone form of a kind and wise and beautiful witch. We have a collection of 4 cute and furry animals. So, first up, I say cute and furry. First up, Tim. Hi.
Hello.
Who is
I don't know if I'd say. Don't know if I'd say cute, but maybe a little furry.
Maybe a little furry.
So, crouching beside what to her is the mountainous corpse, you see Widow, a little black spider with a red skull on its back that is definitely not crudely painted on and is definitely for sure real.
Wonderful. So Widow the spider. In your in your many days with the witch, you've been taught some magic. What magic can you cast?
Well, given that I'm able to scurry up surfaces, get into small places, I've learned the ability to lock and unlock and to open and close. Which mostly I've used to lock the door when the witch can't be bothered to at night, but now, oh yes, it's going to come in handy.
It's going to come very much in handy. Wonderful. Okay, so next up, stood across from Widow the Spider, Nate. Who be you?
I will be a ferret that she lovingly called Stinky. She had many other names, but that might be a little bit too crude for this podcast for the ferret. So Stinky is probably the most sort of PG version. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. And what hedge magic has Stinky been taught by our beautiful and lovable witch?
Well, Stinky mostly acted very confusing to the witch, so he has been taught how to distract and confuse other beings.
Marvelous. So propped up on the elbow of the witch, Julia, who are you playing today?
I am playing the witch's magpie familiar, known imaginatively as Maggie or Mags.
It's a very imaginative witch we have here.
Yes.
Let's go with Maggie. Cool. Hello, Maggie. And what special party tricks does Maggie bring to the party?
Maggie's been taught to make flame.
Okie dokie. And last but not least, peering up from the damp grass, Meg, who are you playing as?
Hello, I am playing Biscuit the Rat, who is a little brown and white blotched rat with perfectly sleek, smooth fur and the most perfect little curled, coiffed little whiskers. If rats could be royalty, Biscuit would be the princess among princesses.
Okay, beautiful. And what special je ne sais quoi does Biscuit have?
So Biscuit has the power of Unseen Hand, which she is currently using to take a small, tiny little rat-sized handkerchief and just dab under her eyes, because her current paws are sort of supporting her.
Marvellous. Okay. In which case, Widow, Stinky, Maggie and Biscuit, you all kind of lock eyes with one another. Widow, you're able to do all three at the same time because you've got so many. But as you lock eyes and amongst you, a plan of revenge begins to brew. The target of your mission is a fucking witch hunter, who you know to be called Gregarious Clunt. Now, he's the sort of witch hunter who, anytime you say his name, you just feel like you have to say his surname each and every time. He's one of those guys. Okay, so just
one of those cunts.
One of those, yeah. So just to verify, who is it you're after?
Gregarious Clunt.
Very good, Gregarious Clunt, the fucking witch hunter who killed your beautiful witch. So, the deed has been done. The witch has been slain. Gregarious Clunt, the fucking witch hunter, has retreated to his village because he's a fucking coward. And we will now find out what the village has to hold, what secrets it has. So let's go ahead and roll 2d10. Oh, I wasn't expecting that. The village is filled with cheery gnomes. Cheery gnomes.
Right.
Right, that's changed the trajectory of this session, hasn't it? And is also controlled by a creepy cult. It's one and the same.
Gnome
One.
cult.
The
Brilliant.
gnome cult.
Yes.
Take them down.
A crazy cult.
Cheery
Okay.
gnome cult.
We also know that Gregorius Clunt is headstrong and wild.
Hmm.
Now, I'll throw this open to the group. Gregorius Clunt, is he a passerby or is he is he the leader of this gnome cult?
Oh,
Would we
like
know
a dark
that
Papa
necessarily?
Smurf.
I think it's fun if he's maybe a human, so that he is like just visiting, but he's a solid 4 feet taller than everyone else.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I like to also think that he couldn't impress other humans, so he tried to impress the gnomes, and the gnomes weren't impressed. So he's like, "Well, I'll show you. Gonna go kill a witch." And he's done that, and now he's gone back to the gnomes to say, "Hey, look at that. See."
Okay, beautiful. Okay, so we have a village filled with cheery gnomes that is controlled by a crazy cult. Gregorius Clunt is headstrong and wild. With that in mind, I guess we'll just start. So yeah, the 4 of you are gathered on the body of your beloved witch. You know you've got a week to take down Gregorius Clunt. What's the plan? What are you thinking?
Well, simply, we must find the vicious brute. We must chop off his nuts and turn them into a coin purse. And
Oh,
also take his eyes.
gotta come out of retirement for one more job.
Stinky, what are you thinking?
Stinky's thinking that it's getting a little ripe in here, and with the smell, and that's quite good to Stinky. He quite enjoys it, but he's also quite sad at the same time.
Yeah, okay. What are your thoughts about the gnome village? Like, do you feel that's going to make it easier, harder, weirder?
Closer to us in size, at least.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, very true.
Yeah, I would say Maggie's probably about the same size as a gnome.
What kind of gnomes are we talking here? Are we talking like the teeny tiny ones, or more like D&D gnomes that are about 2 or 3 feet tall?
You know what? I'm going to say that these gnomes in this world, and they all wear like the tall, pointy red hats and wear blue coats, kind of thing.
Thank God.
Proper garden gnomes.
Proper garden gnomes, very proficient at fishing. They are like 2.5 foot tall, like tops, and like they're like Smurfs. I think they're actually like Smurfs. Yeah. So yeah, this Gregorius Clump, the fucking witch hunter, is like Gargamel, just yomping his way amongst their number.
Well, we're definitely not going to have any problems picking him out. I told you I was going to use the same voice. So.
Okay, so yeah, what's in this moment? What's your plan? You know, you need to get in. He's back at the village, but he being Gregorius Clump.
You're just going to
Well,
say
they're a
that as
cult.
many times as you can, aren't you? Sorry, Meg. But...
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No, you go. I'm trying to avoid saying it because I will trip over it. My tongue will trip over it, and I will say something that I shouldn't. I think you chose that name on purpose, Dan.
What?
Seems
Right,
like
so-
a very villainous name. Yeah.
The gnomes are a cult, right? That means that they'll have like a cult-like hive mind. So if we get to the leader, okay, we could use him to control the rest of the gnomes. We might even end up with an army on our side.
Yeah.
Gnome army.
Yeah.
So, Widow just uncrosses her front legs. You just for a second get a little glimpse of the pedipalps, and then I recross them the other way. I say, Maybe we can make these people think we're their gods somehow.
Um,
Take control of the cult. Have the witch hunter lynched.
and
I
can I
like
do
it.
like can I do like a little investigation, sort of snuffle around the cabin, the witch hut, as it were? I'm looking for something.
Sure. So you head back to the witch hut, which is this kind of beautifully little. If you were to give it a Pinterest board name, it'd be like dainty rustic.
Cottage core.
Yeah, yes. Give me a sly check. So, the way this works, whenever you do a thing and the outcome is in question, it is a D10 plus one of 4 stats that each of your animals have: clever, fierce, sly, or quick. Nate, your Stinky is 2 sly, I believe.
I have 3 sly.
3 sly. Okay, bring it on. Okay, so yeah, roll me D10 plus 3. So that is a total of 6. Yeah, you've lived in this hut pretty much all your life, so you kind of know where the vast majority of things are. So we'll call that a basic check, which is a difficulty 6. What was it you're looking for?
I am looking for some fabric, some particularly sort of stiff fabric.
Okay.
Maybe some stiff red fabric.
Okay. Sure,
And-
you absolutely find it.
Stinky's going to then roll it into a cone and use some sort of glue to sort of glue it together, pop it on his head, or he's going to go, "This is how we infiltrate them." Ta-da!
Have you made a wizard hat? Oh no, it's a gnome hat! Oh
It's
god!
a gnome hat!
Okay, yeah, sure.
My
there's
God, it's glorious.
there's enough
We dress
fabric
up
there for all of
As
you.
gnomes.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. So we've got 1 gnome hat. Do we want 3? Do we want 4? Sorry.
I can make 4.
I'd love a tiny gnome hat if that's all right.
Tiny little hat.
Little spider gnome
Can I
hat.
have
Yeah.
can I have tiny little rhinestones on mine, just just glittering up the top, like a little gnome hat tiara?
I'm sure.
Think he's
I
going
guess-
to dig more into the drawer and find some more.
Yeah,
I
we
guess
can make that.
I'll use some web to like stitch them together, kind of.
Perfect. Okay, so the 4 of you equip yourselves with gnome hats. Julia, what's Maggie doing while this is all happening?
I mean, Maggie can fly, which should make her pretty good for kind of recce's and like scoping out areas before we go to them. I maybe want to see what the gnomes are up to just
Sure.
quickly before we all head into the village.
Sure. So that's also if you're doing a bit of a recce mission, then I'm going to call that if you're trying to spot out, like pick out things of note. I'm going to say make that a clever check.
Okay, so my clever is +2.
Mhm.
That's a 3.
That's a 3. Okay, so as you all know kind of where this cheery, crazy, gnomish cult village is. I mean you just would, wouldn't you? But so as you're flying over, you're gonna swoop under the tree line so you can see it. You're not able to pick out any kind of discernible information, so you can't see like the witch hunter or anyone of note. But like you're able to take in the scene. Perhaps you're distracted. Your little magpie brain is distracted by the sight of this gnomish village, and from what you can tell, like you hear the village before you see it. You can hear like gnome-sized trombones and drum, and like as you fly in, the houses made out of like gingerbread and candy canes, and sort of like lollipop lamps, like lampposts throughout the village. All the gnomes are out in force, and they're all just kind of dancing and prancing around. They're like holding hands and and singing and kind of hopping from foot to foot. So the first twist is you realise that the village is having some sort of festival.
Ooh.
And upon as you're seeing all that, so it'd be quite easy to spot, but you can't see the witch hunter there at the moment.
He's hiding.
He's hiding
Fucking
potentially.
coward.
Howard. Jinx.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna retcon that. You can see the witch hunter because he's 3 times the size of everyone else in this village.
That's the reason.
So the witch hunter is kind of sat roughly in the middle of the village, legs crossed because there are no seats for him to sit on, and he's surrounded by numerous thimble-sized flagons, like drinking flagons, and when I say dozens and dozens and dozens, and this guy's getting tanked on gnome-sized pints of booze. And he's just every so often he's like, whoa, like his feet and arms kick out, and you see gnomes kind of getting punted away. But then these gnomes land, they then get up and just join into the conga. They're all doing the Macarena kind of thing. It's just wild there.
This is why the witch told us to never come here.
Yeah. And Gregorius Clunt is just like, I'm so fucking drunk, you're all so small, he says. And that's all you kind of notice before you as he woos and looks up to the sky, he notices you on a branch, kind of looking down. And that as he appears at you a bit bleary-eyed, you quickly fly away.
All right, I get back and I report back. I say, guys, the village is ridiculous. Feels very creepy. Little gnomes dancing everywhere. The witch hunter's blasted.
Scoundrel.
I know.
So, as Maggie comes back, what does Biscuit make of Maggie's somewhat brief recce report?
Well, first off, Biscuit is very cross that this man has just stumbled into our lives, upended it, killed our beautiful witch, and now he's sat getting drunk on thimblefuls of beer, thinking he's a big man. I think Biscuit wants to cut him down to size.
By comparison, he is quite
right
a big
down
man.
to size. Yeah.
Okay.
But think about it this way: if he's getting drunk, the drunker he gets, the less likely he is to see us all coming.
Oh, he'll never see us coming.
That's true.
He might smell stinky though.
Okay, so Maggie, by the time you get back, there is as you're chatting to the other 3 familiars, you notice they're all festooned with little pointed red hats. Biscuits is additionally studded with some little kind of hobbycraft press-on plastic diamonds. And there is a gnome hat for you. So with your disguises created, what's the go-to? What are you thinking?
Yeah, how do we ingratiate ourselves with the gnomes?
What
do
we should do
Yeah.
is find the drunkest gnome and introduce ourselves to him, and then he'll introduce us to the others.
Genius. Maybe we can, take him into a little alleyway and get his clothes.
Even better. Violence, brilliant.
Dan, before we get heading off,
Yes.
and I understand if this may be dangerous, can I have a look and see if I can find any potions or poisons or whatever that the witch might have secreted
Sure.
around the cabin?
You absolutely can, yes. So those sort of things which are more dangerous, she kind of kept hidden away. But give me... In fact, she kept them hidden away, and you know this because there's a cabinet that has dangerous, do not enter. Do not open. It's locked.
Well.
But...
Let me warm up my little tiny spider hands.
Sure. So this is, I'm going to say that this is very sly. If you're effectively looking to pick the lock, you can use your spell to to do so. So if you give me a sly roll, and I'm going to say that it is... It's not a complicated lock, but it is a lock and you are a spider. So let's call it basic. Right, you need a 7 or more. So D10 plus your
Wonderful.
sly check.
Oh no, a 5.
5. Okay. So you reach in and you're trying to pick the lock. So basically, putting your kind of little spider legs in, and you're the lock. You manage to get you cast your magic, and the lock turns, but it turns in such a way that unfortunately one of your legs gets caught in the mechanism and kind of plucked off.
Ooh. No!
Ah, God.
So,
oh boy, that's gonna sting.
One of your kind of side legs is pulled off by the lock's mechanisms as the door swings open. As you tumble out, you've failed a dangerous check, a dangerous test, so you gain 1 point of danger. And going forward, that might be bad news for you, but we'll come back to that later. So the door swings open.
I got spares.
So yes, you all watch as Widow tumbles from the lock, 12.5% less maneuverable than she once was before she tried it. But arrayed in front of you are all of these glass vials, some narrow kind of test tube shape, some with the kind of bulbous beakers, the round beaker bits at the bottom. They're all filled with various, all the colours of the rainbows of liquid, some bubbling, some clear, some misty, some opaque. What is it you're looking for as you kind of tend to your sore spot?
Can I read?
You cannot if you pass a clever check.
I'll give it a go.
This is not dangerous, however.
Thank Christ. 6.
6. You can, yes. So if you're looking for a specific potion, or poison or whatever, you'll be able to find it.
So again, while I definitely do produce my own very deadly, very good toxin that is very deadly, I would like to look for some kind of deadly poisons.
Okay. There is sort of like at the back of the cabinet, surrounded by kind of next to the love potions, the change color of flower potions. There is this bottle of thick, viscous liquid that, if you kind of look at it from one angle, looks purple, but if you shift to look at it from the other angle, looks green. It's almost pearlescent. And
now we're talking.
The front of the bottle is marked, like the parchment stuck on the bottle is marked with nothing but a skull, a drawing of a skull.
Perfect. All right, I'll create a little web lasso and drag this tiny vial out.
It goes with your colouring. Widow.
I can help you with that, and can Biscuit sort of conjure unseen hand to just sort of lift the vial up and down off the shelf?
You can. It's quite a delicate thing. So it's a fragile bottle and it's filled with very dangerous poison.
I'd like to scuttle away from it as quickly as possible when I see this is happening.
Roll me a sly check, Biscuit.
Okay.
And
rolling up the sleeves for this.
It's still quite easy, so it's a simple task.
Right, what is my sly? My sly is +2. Ooh. 5.
Okay, so there's a bit of chinkling and dinging and donging as your this bottle starts to levitate as your invisible hand kind of grabs the top. It sort of rattles the other bottles as you kind of get it out, but it's difficult because there's all the other things in the way. And as you pull the bottle out, one of the other potions kind of falls, is dragged out, kind of knocked out. And whilst you have the poison that you're after, this other potion bottle falls and smashes to the ground. As the glass breaks, the liquid inside immediately turns into a kind of a vapor. Biscuit, you're stood a bit too close, and you get a lungful of whatever smell just came out of this potion, and you start hacking and coughing. That is one point of danger as you accidentally
I'm
We
so
haven't even
sorry,
made it.
Widow.
accidentally inhale some sort of bad stuff. You manage to kind of concentrate enough that your invisible hand, like this poison bottle, held by your invisible hand, boom, gently puts it on the floor between the four of you. After you open the windows to get the smell out.
I'm so sorry. I'm usually used to, just carrying dainty little things like handkerchiefs and potpourri.
Maggie's gonna reach their wing out and just tap Biscuit on the shoulder. There, and is going to volunteer because magic is quite dangerous. We should only be using it when we absolutely have to. So Maggie's going to volunteer to maybe if someone can help her create a little kind of thing that can go around her neck and that you can dangle a couple of vials of liquid off. She can carry it essentially.
Am I good to do that out of my web gunk?
Yeah.
Sure.
Sweet.
Sure.
All right.
Nice.
Okay.
So I
all
will
of-
happily carry the poison around.
Okay, bro. All of this chaos and carnage has been happening, and Stinky has just kind of been rolling on his back over in the corner. But what is Stinky doing now?
Stinky wants to look for the other cabinet with the other bottles of liquid in them.
The other ones.
Other.
Yeah.
Any in particular you're looking for?
The others that might have been locked away as well.
Okay.
The booze cupboard.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh no.
So that one, that cupboard, you know where that is, and you know what the contents are inside because it's got had a patterned stained glass-esque front to it. But inside, you've you can see the bottles of what the witch used to refer to as Mummy's Happy Juice. And
Mummy's special brews.
yes, this cupboard isn't. So this cupboard isn't locked. It's usually she just kind of shooed you away if you on the multiple occasions where you tried to get into the liquor cupboard. She just kind of picked you up and moved you. But now she's not here, so you are able to. You stand up on your hind legs and scrabbling with your claws. You manage to just use your body weight by hurling yourself backwards. And the door to the booze cupboard swings open.
Stinky's gonna scrabble back up again, and he's gonna. Well, before he scrabbles back up, he's kind of watched quietly how everyone was doing it over by the potions. He's gonna then pull a cushion over to the cabinet, scrabble back up, and then push what he thinks was the witch's favourite, which hopefully has high contents of alcohol, and push it onto the cushion.
This is a very good idea.
Yeah. Okay. So this bottle, you kind of disappear into the cupboard, and the rest of you watch as some of the bottles start kind of rattling and shaking around, and then this one bottle just launches forward and lands on the cushion, with Stinky kind of behind it, looking real smug.
Well done, Stinky.
Nice work, Stinks.
Let's say we have this as something that we could possibly give to the gnomes as a little helping hand to them.
Okay, marvelous. So you are now armed with 4 gnome hats. Let's say a dose's worth of deadly poison, a bottle of Mummy's Happy Juice, and 1 leg less than when you started.
The love potion.
Say again, sorry?
I want to take the love potion too. Put it around my neck on my little harness thing.
Oh, don't get those swapped and mixed up. Okay, cool. So let's say you're able to
You never know
Who's-
when it might come in handy.
Who's volunteering to transfer the potions from the larger bottles to the small vials around your neck? Because, I mean, they're too big for a magpie to hold up.
God, no, I don't want the full bottles. I want little vials.
So, effectively, some of you are either going to have to like tip it in or pipette it out or something. Who's volunteering for that?
Well, I'm
Really
definitely not
lost a
using
leg.
my magic this time.
I can have a go.
Yeah? Do your best Walter White impression.
Yeah. Well, I've got quite a. I'm clever because I'm a magpie,
Okay.
and I can probably do some pipetting with my beak or something. Not
Ooh, not with the
directly,
deadly poison.
not directly. Like get a pipette in my beak and.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah, roll me a clever check.
Clever.
It's a bit more complex, this one, so let's call it a 7.
Oh boy. Okay. So it's an 8.
Cool. So you all watch then as this magpie picks up a pipette in its beak and squeezes, inserts, releases, and yeah, you put the potions into your vials. So yeah, you're fine. You've got a dose of poison and a dose of love potion.
Yeah. I ask somebody, probably, well, who'd be good at art? Widow, maybe, to mark the vials as we go and make sure we're definitely know which one's which.
Oh, sure. And if there's any, I don't know, a paint or something that I can use to just as a dye.
For some reason, you've got this kind of red dye near your cobweb
Huh.
hole. Yeah, it's the same colour as
Weird.
the markings
Yeah,
on your thorax. Actually, that's very your abdomen. Very curious.
Yeah. I guess the witch must have left it here. Huh. Well, yeah, I'll daub a little heart on the love potion
Cute.
and a little skull that it seems like I've got a lot of practice at drawing on the poison one.
You're so naturally talented.
Well, thank you, darling.
Okay, so at this point, you feel like you're prepared to head out into the world. So, with that in mind, how are you approaching the village? Like, what's your plan once you reach the gnome village?
Well, you know what they say? They say, if you act with confidence, people are more likely to believe you. So I say we just stride in like confident little gnomes, just on their way to the festival, and everything will be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, they'll totally buy it.
And we're going for the drunkest gnome.
The drunkest gnome, yes.
Ah.
And I think with our beautiful little hats that Stinky has made us, we will fit right in.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay. In which case, the four of you make your way through the forest. Every step harder than the last as the weight of the grief weighs heavy on your hearts. But also, you just look adorable, so it doesn't really matter.
Maybe I was going to say riding on Stinky, but I think spiders smell through their feet. So I start to I'm like, nope, I'm good. Yeah, I'll walk. It's fine.
Okay. In which case, you can hear the sounds of this gnomish-sized big band, kind of drifting through the forest. Are you just for you lots of answer? Is it daytime, evening, nighttime? Like, when are you heading there?
Well, what time of the day do you think the gnomes would be at their drunkest?
Oh,
We're like-
evening. Before they've all
I
fallen
feel
asleep.
like it's probably late afternoon by now. I think the witch hunter probably went out in the morning for his hunting.
Wait, what was the witch hunter's name again?
Gregarious Clunt.
Cool. Okay, thank you for reminding me.
As if your notes aren't just covered in it.
Yes. Okay. So let's say early, late afternoon. It's coming up to early evening. Like, from what you saw, Maggie, when you did your reconnaissance, like the party is in full flow. Like it looks like they're getting tanked up on their thimble-sized point glasses. Cool. In which case, as you approach, you can hear this music kind of drifting through the air, and ahead of you, his forehead, like leant against a tree. You see what appears to be a diminutive figure in a blue coat, pointy red hat, trousers round his ankles, bum cheeks, proudly displayed in your direction, and a ever so slight and tiny little tinkling.
Oh no.
Dear, I think his tail appears to be on the wrong side of him.
I'm going to join in with that, and Stinky goes along and sidles up next to him to join in for the pissing contest.
Mammals are gross.
I know, right?
So as you lollop up to this gnome, then I'm kind of stands upright and sort of like it's clear as you approach that the gnome had fallen asleep, and like kind of drifted off for a few moments. But as you arrive, this gnome looks at you, and we're talking like big ears, big nose, big old, well, comparatively big old white beard, and that looks you up and down, spots your hat, kind of has this look of confusion on his face, and hello, says no.
Obviously, because we can't talk to the gnomes, I'm guessing.
You can't. No. But yeah, the gnome just, hello. This is a great tree for peeing. Yeah, he announces loudly.
Stinky's just gonna go.
Yeah.
While they're having this chat, can I try and set up a webby tripwire behind this drunken gnome?
Ooh.
Do you think that's plausible?
That is plausible. Roll me a. I want to say. I'm going to say clever, because you've got to make sure it's kind of at the right height, that you've got enough strands. Yeah, roll me a clever check.
All right, let's web this boy. 7.
7. That is a pass. Yeah, only 1 to the 6. So the roots of the tree that this gnome is kind of stood between, like the pronounced roots, you start making like you dart backwards and forwards to create a tripwire of web, and the gnome, while this is happening, the gnome's looking to you, Stinking. It's such a glorious day, isn't it? It's so wonderful. They've wheeled out all of the mushrooms for the celebrations today as marvel. They're going to be cooking them soon. It's going to be so beautiful and tasty. I tell you what, this Gregarious Clunt character, he's a real party animal, isn't he? Yes. And that witch that he came with. Oh, she's a looker as well, isn't she? She's a bit tall for me, mind you, but maybe you look a bit taller. Maybe you're more her type.
Stinky's gonna sort of grit his teeth from hearing how much he's enjoying Clump's company and just go.
Okay, whilst Stinky's making friends, what's Biscuit doing?
Biscuit actually, once again, try the unseen hand, just to lightly tap this gnome backwards, so he falls onto the tripwire.
Yeah. Okay. That is a. Let's have a little think here. I suppose you're trying to do it in a somewhat disarming way, aren't you? You're almost trying to trick him into. Like, is it like a tap on the shoulder kind of thing? Or you
No, it's more like a push to the chest, like a whoop.
Okay.
I'm hoping that he's drunk enough that he'll just, he'll have
Sure.
no balance whatsoever. So just a light little will do.
That sounds fierce to me because you're using force, and it's magic, so it'll be a dangerous spell. You're right; he is absolutely tanked. So we'll call it a 6.
What's the worst that could happen, right?
Whoa!
Ooh.
There we go. Okay,
Ooh.
so
Straight 8.
you hear this gnome kind of chattering and chattering to Stinky, and like as you kind of get yourself ready to do the unseen hand, there's one part of it that kind of makes your nose twitch, and your ears perk up, and it was the gnome mentioning that the witch hunter Gregarious Clump being here with a witch.
Yeah, I think Maggie was going to sidle up to a widow and say, "What did he mean by that?
Well,
Came with a witch."
Maggie, as you kind of go to ask Widow this, Biscuit, you kind of feel this flare of anger at the thought of the witch hunter being with a witch, and you push this gnome with such force that he and like his trousers around his ankles. Bear in mind, so he goes to take a step back, can't trip, like stag, like goes to tumble, hits the webbing, trips, like fully goes over. But as he does, like as this, I mean, compared to you, he's quite tall. But as this 2.5 foot gnome, like tumbles backwards, there's a crack as the gnome's head hits a rock. Yeah.
Whoopsie!
Oh no!
And just and blood splatters up the roots on either side,
Oh,
and yeah, blood splatters up the sides of the roots, and this gnome just kind of coughs and chokes in his own blood until death.
Dear, it looks just like that raspberry jam we made last summer.
Yes.
Maggie's going to just hop over and kind of just sort of poke him a couple of times with the beak, just to see.
The gnome twitches a few times, and twitches a few times until you hear like the last gasp leave his mouth.
I think he's dead.
You
Biscuit?
you then
Nice.
watch as you say this, you then look horrified as the gnome immediately begins sprouting. The gnome's body immediately begins sprouting mushrooms of various colours,
What? Ah!
just rapidly decomposing.
Maggie hops back. Ah! Like, what?
Is this normal?
Didn't he mention mushrooms? Is this the dark secret of the village? They're eating the mushrooms sprouted from their own dead.
Have you guys ever killed a gnome before? Is this what happened?
I don't think I've killed anything before.
It doesn't happen to flies. It for sure doesn't happen to flies.
Is it wrong that I quite like it?
Yes, but we'll examine that later.
Stinky, you've just watched this gnome come to a very swift end. His his mushroom cap flapping in the wind as he tipped to his death. Yeah, Stinky, you overheard Maggie and Widow talking about, your Maggie asking Widow what he meant about another gnome, but obviously you were the one being spoken to by the gnome. But yeah, there seems to be some gossip here.
Yeah. Well, he did state something about another witch.
I heard it.
Is that? I mean, could that be? Surely that's not our witch, our lovely, beautiful witch.
Oh, she's dead.
We saw her. She's dead.
She's
So-
most definitely dead.
Who's
She's
it?
so dead.
Who is it that killed her?
Fucking Clunt.
Gregarious Clunt.
Gregarious Clunt.
I swear, your
Gre-
notes just are like DT and GC forever. With a heart.
It's literally just a
around
piece
it.
of paper with the word Gregorius Clant in huge font. That's
That
it.
was
That's
your
all the
prep.
notes.
That was
Yes.
it.
Why would a witch hunter be friends with a witch who just killed our witch? What's this witch's deal?
Maybe it's
Maybe
like...
she's his prisoner?
That must be it.
Maybe if we get
Oh,
both
maybe.
their eyes, we'll get double witch. Can you imagine?
I
Double
think we need to
witch.
save this poor witch from this witch hunter.
Maybe she'll adopt us if we
Yeah,
can't get ours back.
I like ours.
she's our plan B.
Like, ours might be turning into mushrooms any moment.
Oh yeah.
Is
We didn't wait
Are
long
the,
enough
uh,
to see if that happened.
Are the clothes still usable on the gnome?
They are, yes, yeah. It's just in place of a gnome corpse, there is now a fungal mound sprouting out of the holes of a blue coat and a pointy red hat, which is now stained on the back.
I am unsettled by this
Did he fall out of his trousers?
putrefaction.
no. No, yeah. So there's also a bunched up pair of trousers, kind of nestled on top of some shiny little black buckled shoes.
Right.
Yes, we best divide his clothes up between us until we can find another gnome to, not kill this time, maybe?
No
mean-
promises.
If one of you guys is wearing his big old gnome hat, I can maybe scurry up inside it. They'll never
Oh, there's no
suspect
way
a
I'm
thing.
getting rid of my lovely little current gnome hat. I'm very attached to
Can
it.
we do a thing where we basically all wear the gnome's clothes and balance on top of one another, and then we sort of navigate into town as a full gnome?
This is a wonderful idea.
Who's
So-
the face of the operation?
Hey,
I'm
does
thinking-
this sound familiar to you?
Yeah. All we need is a catapult.
All right.
Sure. I mean, you look at the gnome's clothes, the ex-gnome's clothes, and the chest cavity seems like it would fit a magpie. The torso, like the neckline down to say the feet, looks distinctly ferret-sized. And with some jiggery pokery, you reckon that as fabulous as she is, Biscuit would make a fantastic face, wouldn't she?
Be a hand.
And you could be a hand. Yes.
A hand.
We need to grab stuff.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, you reckon between the four of you, you'll be able to
A
wear.
slightly lopsided gnome, but
Yeah,
still.
yeah. There'd only be
Yeah.
one hand,
Yeah.
one
One little
seven-fingered
creepy black
hand.
hand.
Yeah. Does he have a little glove that I can get in, or will I just be spider in it?
There's a glove. Yeah.
All right, sweet. Yeah, I'll put 5 of my feet in the glove. Use the remaining 2 to grip onto Maggie's wing,
Glove
and just
gnome
wiggle.
pops into town.
Okay. So is this your
Widow.
plan?
Yes, Widow, can
I
you
think it has to
spin
be.
me the most luxuriant of gnome beards?
Oh, it would be
Please.
my pleasure.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Okay.
So yeah,
So,
spend a bit of time.
Princess, you poke your
Ooh,
snoot out and
Maybe get a bit of Stinky's fur and incorporate that for a real hairy appearance.
oh boy. Okay, so the four of you have successful. Well, I say successfully. Let's not be too presumptuous here. You lot have disguised yourselves as a one-armed, swaying gnome. That's just kind of got the tiniest little feet. Okay. So are you you make your way into the village. Like the music is obviously kind of louder here. The sight, frankly, is alarming. There's just dozens, scores of gnomes, all identically dressed, all sort of like holding hands and kind of swaying backwards and forwards. They're singing this like happy, cutesy la 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 kind of song, and they're just kind of dancing around what appears to be this big, giant mushroom. That's just kind of sprouted in the center of the village. As you get closer, you notice that under the cap of the mushroom are a number of other gnomes who've been tied to it. And they're like, you can see that there's kind of firewood and coals, and like it looks like as you like Stinky, as you kind of reach up so everyone can see, Princess, you can see over the gnomes that there's bowls of what look like seasoning herbs. And these gnomes that are tied up to the mushroom are also kind of like la 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 la, like they're also happy and singing as well. You and then
God, I hate gnomes.
and dwarfing this gnomish village, you can see, like on a log on the edge of the village, is this broad-shouldered, square-jawed, open shirt, like chest hair poking out, witch hunter. He's got an eye patch, and he's got a pilgrim-esque hat on. There's a rapier that hangs from his belt, and as you look to it, you all seethe at the sight of Gregorius Clunt, the and and as you kind of peer over in this direction, you will see a second figure sit on the log with Gregorius Clunt. This is a lady of some description, a wide-brimmed hat, a big ploufy skirt, and as she sits down next to Gregorius Clunt and basic instinct crosses her legs, she hands him a goblet of wine, and you hear her and they clink goblets, and at this point you recognize the other witch as your witch's rival.
What's happening out there? I can't see.
Winnie Woodgreen?
Willie Woodgreen herself.
Fuckboy Clunt.
That is, ladies and gentlemen, that is the second twist that the rival witch seems to have set this all up. And with that bombshell, let's grab a break.
Gonna kill her!
Bloody twist.
Kill the witch!
See you in a bit.
See you soon.
My.
Hello, you little furries, you. If you like what you're seeing, make sure to hit the like button and comment down below. Also, don't forget to subscribe. You'd be a clump if you didn't. Welcome back, children of the forest.
Hey, Dan.
Are you feeling rested?
Yeah.
We're feeling ready for murder.
Never rest again.
We've
I
had
can't
our
rest
first
until
blood.
we've had our vengeance.
Yes, these are the perfect states of mind to be in. So, we pick up with the four of you on the edge of the gnome village, kind of on the periphery, looking at these debaucherous, heinous acts of jubilant debauchery.
Disgusting.
Disgusting. And yes, you've just been rattled, shaken to your cores at the sight of Gregorius Clunt schmoozing with, what was her name? Wilhelmina?
Winnie Woodgreen.
Winnie Woodgreen. Your witch's arch nemesis. So, as
Gregorius and Winnie, it makes me feel sick.
sorry, who and Winnie?
Gregorius, Clunt, and Winnie.
Oh, okay. Sorry, just wanted to clarify. Cool. So, yeah, between you and the witch hunter and the rival witch, there are approximately 50 to 70 cavorting gnomes. So, what's the plan? What do you do?
So I can definitely take one of them out with the love potion, and then we just need to figure out what to do with the other 69.
What if we, maybe if we get into the circle, we can dance around until we get to the side where they are.
And then,
Fling poison in his face.
Yeah, or in the wine.
The wine. Yes.
I feel like we need to humiliate them. Absolutely destroy them. Especially that hussy Winnie. Because she's obviously behind all of this. I mean, he is a bastard. He is a Gregorius Clunt to name. But she... Oh... Let's
It makes
get her.
sense. It makes sense now how he pulled it off. If she was the mastermind behind it.
Yes, because he looks way too stupid to pull
He's
anything
just a big
off.
dumb brute. Maybe we
He's-
can seduce him with our love potion.
We use the love potion on him. And then what?
I hadn't thought that far ahead.
Let's make him fall in love with a gnome.
As you say this, you watch as there's a commotion as Gregorius Clunt has now taken his shirt off and is doing one-arm push-ups.
Oh, this fucking guy.
Whilst, like,
I hate him so much.
finger gunning at Winnie as he does it,
Yes.
alternating with
So
his
maybe,
push-up.
so for real though, maybe we can put a divide between him and Winnie if we get him to fall in love with a gnome, because clearly Winnie's trying to flirt with him and he's kind of flirting back. So we can put a wedge between them.
And while they're arguing, we
Mm.
have poison. We have a bottle of wine.
Sure.
And we have fire.
Yeah, if all
And
else
we
fails,
have
If all
fire.
else fails, we
Molotov, I
have
think Molotov cocktail as a
meth,
final
booze,
result.
and fire.
Yeah, exactly. Poisonous Molotov cocktail.
Okay.
Cover him in
we,
fire and poison.
Did we bring that
How
bottle of whiskey of spirits as well with us? 'Cause
Yeah,
that's
we've-
like
Yeah.
Someone's got
perfect.
I've got it in
What's
the,
your
I'm just sort of holding it in the pants.
Yeah, that's our gnome Tommy.
Yeah.
that. Okay.
Okay, brilliant. So, who's taking the first step of your glorious plan?
Just to say, part of the previous plan, which could be still good here, is getting the gnomes to turn on the witch hunter and Winnie, presumably. So how
Could
are we
make a
going to
good
do
sacrifice.
Or what would be like a sacrilege in their eyes? What would be like, really against their cult ways? Something that they would just
Saying
despise.
mushrooms are shit.
Oh,
Will they understand
yes.
us though? Dan,
they
can
won't.
we try and figure out with our cleverness, from what we've observed of these gnomes, what would count as sacrilege to them? Like pushing over the sacrificial mushroom, or lighting the fire too early, and making it look like it's the witch hunter's fault, maybe. Like what would they get really upset about?
So you know that the gnomes are an inherently cheery bunch, like crazily cheery. It seems that the mushrooms are very central to their identity, and what would they not like? So I guess anything that goes against the mushrooms or the cheeriness. It's clear that this large mushroom in the center of the village is very kind of pivotal to like this ritual sacrifice / barbecue is very pivotal to the gnomes. So you suppose that perhaps that will interfering with that will do something. It's stuff on coming. Gnomes are cheery. They're just whatever, man.
So maybe the fact that they're having an argument, that anger would be against their their cheery nature. So that would already stir the pot. Then maybe if we either cut down or burned the shit out of their like central sacrifice mushroom, like whilst that argument was happening, maybe that'd be enough to make them turn on the two biggest creatures who are causing a kerfuffle in the middle of their festival.
Yeah, they'll think that they're like the non-cheeriness is
what's ruining,
angering their mushroom god.
Yes, that's what we should do. Totally. Okay, I'm happy to set the fire under the big mushroom, the big sacrificial mushroom. Does anyone want to take the vial of poison love potion from me to sort of try and...
Do not get those mixed up.
I am quite sly.
Yes.
So
Okay,
maybe
good.
I can use my sly, ratty nature to...
How much sly have you got?
I think you're going to
I've
get
got about-
outside.
2 sly?
I've got 3 sly. Do you want
It's
me
a
to-
rodent
okay.
fly off!
Yeah.
I'm also I'm extremely sly, but I am also extremely small, so I'm not sure I'm fit for this task.
Ooh.
Okay.
I would like to say,
Okay.
Julia, ferrets are not rodents.
They're not!
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
Technically,
What are
mustelids.
they? What are they?
Yes,
I don't know. They're closely related to skunks.
Mustelids,
Oh.
technically.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh.
So there we go.
I think
Pretty
you're right.
cool.
though. I think this is a job for Stinky.
Okay. So,
Okay.
you notice a a vial being passed down to you in the trousers, Stinky.
Does someone want to say something
I guess,
before he
in
drinks
fact, you can like.
No.
Yeah, I
His sly is 3, but his clever is 0.
It's for the witch hunter!
Oh, okay.
Make him fall in love with a gnome!
Oh.
Oh,
However that works.
Dan, would you say, can I use my open and close power to untie ropes, would you say, so that we can release the gnome sacrifices?
Oh.
If so, if not, like we can probably like chew through them or something.
I think you know what, I'm gonna say yes. As much as it hurts my heart not to see these gnomes get immolated. Ritualistic bonfire. But yes, no, it'll untie a knot. If you can find the knot, and then it'll come loose.
Excellent.
Cool, thanks.
So let's start with you, Tim. What's Widow doing as this plan starts? It sounds like you're all kind of going to be going in vaguely different directions.
We need to come up with how we're going to do this, because we can't just if a gnome just disintegrates into a bunch of different little creatures. That's not
You
going to
might
look
be
good.
right. Maybe we have to sneak behind a barrel or something to disrobe and then go our separate ways, sneak off in our separate
I
directions.
mean, bear in mind, you've still all got your own respective gnome hats.
That is true. We are very stealthy.
We are still we've got plausible deniability if anyone doesn't look too carefully at us.
Yes.
So yes, what's
Alright.
what's Widow doing?
Okay, I need to figure out a way to get into the middle of the circle without being trampled by festive merry gnomes.
And once you do get there, what are you planning on doing?
Once I'm there, I'm going to try and at around the same time in fact, Maggie, if you can fly us both into the middle,
Yeah.
then you can start a fire when the time is right, and I'll mess with the ropes.
Yeah. Okay. So where am I trying to land exactly? Because I'm assuming this is a big capped mushroom.
Yeah. So it's a big cat mushroom. It's about 5 foot tall. The top is a kind of lustrous red with white spots, with a white stalk.
Mm-hmm.
And I say currently, tied around the stalk are approximately 6 gnomes. The rope kind of goes round their torsos about 5 or 6 times.
Okay.
And their arms are kind of pinned down by their sides. But they're also singing along with the rest of the village.
So shall I just fly us down and set us down at the base of the mushroom, and
Yeah.
then you can climb up.
Yeah,
And
sure.
I can start casting my flame once you're done.
Although, all right, I'll keep scurrying up. I'll try and get to the top so that I don't get burnt to death. And then if you can make it to come and swoop me up, and then we can make a getaway. It'll be like we were never even there.
Excellent. All right.
Okay. Right, so that's the two of you. Stinky,
Yes.
you're taking the love potion to the witch hunter.
I am.
Okay, that's nice and easy. And Biscuit.
The biscuit. Do you want the
I'm-
poison?
Well,
Or-
I thought I can either take the poison, or if you like, I can go amongst the gnomes and sort of hide behind barrels, and just sort of. Actually, they can't understand me, can they? So never mind. Scratch that. Yeah, I'll take the poison.
Were you going to start running interference and being like, "I've heard Gregorius is
Yeah.
a bastard"?
Exactly. I thought,
Why-
he
why he's trying to ruin
hates
the festival.
happiness. He hates happiness. He listens to sad songs on repeat for fun.
He listens to Radio 4.
How's your
He
interpretive
loves
dance?
Coldplay.
Yeah.
But all they'd hear was. So yeah, I will take the poison and see if I can slip it into that big old fat wine goblet that they have.
Mhm.
So who? Okay, so you're gonna love potion the witch hunter.
Mhm.
Then presumably after he drinks it and hopefully becomes besotted with a gnome, then you're gonna poison him. Because I suppose you've got to wait for him to be all lovey-dovey to create the rift.
He needs to
first.
have an argument with Winnie in front of everybody.
Yeah,
Mm.
maybe if we poison Winnie, and then hopefully the gnomes will deal with Gregorius,
Yes.
or one or the other, either way round.
We've
Yeah,
got
we
we've got the poison. We've got a number of receptacles we can dump it in. That's
I tell you what you could do. We could just find the source of the booze and poison them all.
Poison out.
Oh, is that like a mushroom stew or something?
Hang on.
You
Hang
know.
on.
If there are there any big like barrels of beer that they're all sort of pouring their little thimbles
mean,
from.
the gnomes are sourced. So yeah, there's like gnome beer that Gregorius Clump has been necking back one thimble at a time. So and like the whole village it's just open tap.
All right.
I mean, I feel like these gnomes have some guilt to bear since they're hosting these horrible humans and saying nice things about them after they both conspired to murder our witch. I feel like these gnomes are culpable,
Look at them
I
all
feel like
celebrating her death.
Yeah,
they
fuck
should
'em.
also fuck them indeed. Exactly. Stinky put it
Fuck these
perfectly.
gnomes.
Fuck them. Let's poison the bastards.
Have we got enough poison? Is the thing.
But they're very small, so
They are very small, but the witch hunter is quite big. So
Yeah.
will it do
And-
anything to him?
Maybe
That-
at least something.
Skull.
Might-
That
yeah.
skull on the bottle is very red and very dangerous looking.
Thank you
It
very
is.
much.
It's true. It's true. Okay.
okay, we have some plans. I think the witch hunter, like lovey-doveying up the witch hunter, seems to be the first step of the plan. So, we switch to you, Stinky, as you all kind of look to each other. A plan, as far as you know, a watertight plan, firm in your minds. You all nod and you kind of scurry off in your various directions. Stinky, you. How are you approaching? Are you kind of like schmoozing, like doing a little ferret wobble through the middle, or are you kind of sneaking around the sides? Or like how are you getting to the other side of basically the other side of the village?
Yeah, so
I say village, like it's
Stinky's sort of like he's just like weaving through. He's
Okay.
kind of like doing like a little hop through that to just kind of pretend that he's joining in, maybe just like that, just sort of joining in. And then when he gets to sort of like as far away from the crowd as possible, where he now needs to sneak, he's gonna sneak behind where the witch hunter is doing his push-ups, and sort of aim for his cup without trying to be seen.
Sure. Okay, so in which case, as you're kind of doing your little ferret wiggles through the gnomish circles, and you notice that I say there are a number of gnomes, and they're all holding hands and they're all dancing, but they're formed in like concentric circles. And they're just kind of going in alternating directions. It's very kind of mesmerizing. There's a point where you just kind of standing. There's a wall of gnomes in front and behind you. It feels like the world's worst acid trip. As you're going through, some of these gnomes are looking to you. Like they look you up and down, spot the red hat atop your head, and hello. They say as you kind of carry on weaving through. And sort of like, under a chorus of "Hi, hello," you emerge from the other side of the gnomes. You're that much closer to the witch hunter. It sounds quite sly, and this is also quite dangerous because you're trying to avoid the attention of the witch hunter. So please roll me a slide check.
So that's just a D10, yeah.
D10 plus 3 for you, I believe.
It's a 6.
Okay.
Ooh.
So we will, as you kind of break from the circle of gnomes, you go to hide behind one of the houses. As you're about to kind of reach cover, you get distracted by something shiny and glittery, and sort of like there's a reflection as you kind of look around for it. You stop and you notice that the witch, Winnie Woodgreen, is kind of leaning over with an eyebrow raised as this ferret just kind of freaks out looking for whatever it is that caught his attention. You're able to then sort of like arch your back and like hop into cover. But yeah, you have been noticed by the witch. Your danger goes up by 1.
Oh no!
Oh no.
But yeah, you're also able to you're able to make it round to sort of like where the two of them are sat. Just be more like the witch seems a bit more alert. So whilst that's happening, Biscuit, are you kind of holding fire, or like when are you poisoning when are you doing your part of the plan?
Can I see the witch noticing Stinky?
You do, yes, yeah. You're all kind of watching to see how Stinky gets on. You see Stinky kind of arches back and kind of disappear around the corner. So you know he's in position, but you do see this kind of this wide-brimmed hat-wearing lady just kind of sitting upright, and then eventually she looks a bit concerned, and then just kind of turns back to Gregorius Clunt, who he's still topless, but now he's just proper like, just flexing. One foot on one of the gnome houses, like a.
I thought you were going to say on a gnome.
Yeah, sure, yeah. 1 foot on a gnome. There's a bunch of gnomes holding this guy's foot up as he just. And then you watch as just like the pecs.
Oh no!
Oh, I hate this guy.
So I think I want to make this a quick in and out. So either when she's distracted looking at Stinky, or if she's facing my way, once she goes back to conversing, I want to scurry up behind the keg onto the top of it. And usually kegs have a little what's it called, a cork that comes out. So I'm going to look for that, nibble through it, and then just dump the poison in as quick as I can and scurry off.
Okay.
I'm also, for this moment, I'm going to remove my lovely, perfect, rhinestone-encrusted hat and pop it safely behind a bush, because I think that the gnomes would be less concerned about a rat scurrying around than a rat with a gnome hat scurrying around.
Sure. A gnome, you mean?
Yes, yeah.
Sure.
A very beautiful gnome with a very beautiful hat. And the hat is going away safely.
I regret that.
Have you
Due
still
to
got
it
the
being
beard
quite
on?
sticky, you may still have the beard.
Yeah.
Just a lustrous ratty beard. Okay, so if speed is the name of the game in this instance, please roll me a quick check.
Okay.
And
Pray
you're
for me,
trying-
everyone.
You're trying to do a lot.
Mm.
This sounds somewhat challenging, would we argue?
Which is challenging, not dangerous.
Sounds challenging. Maybe it is also. Is it dangerous?
Does involve some deadly poison.
It does.
It does. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna say it's a challenging maneuver and it's dangerous because again, you're also trying to avoid the attention of the witch and witch hunter.
This is big. This is big.
Biscuit is willing to take the risk.
Okay.
Are we ready? Oh,
Yes, biscuit.
Biscuit.
that is 10.
A 10. Okay.
Yes.
So you take your hat off and you like through the field. Well, no, say like through the grass. You skitter kind of under the keg. And weirdly, it's a human-sized keg, so Lord knows how the gnomes got it here. But you scurry up the back of it using the wood grain as almost like a ladder. And at the top, through some you manage to nibble enough to loosen the cork that you're able to then push it out. And peering into the hole at the top of this keg, you can see this kind of amber liquid sloshing around inside. You just dump in all of the
All of it.
poison.
Still going.
All of the poison. Okay. So as you pour it in,
Wow.
like this pearlescent greeny purple liquid slimes out of the vial into the gnomish ale keg. There's a of sort of like pinkish smoke. You see
Is the smoke in the shape of a skull?
in the skull, yeah.
Yes.
And so you pull your face away as that skull kind of pops out the hole and then just dissipates. But then as you look, you see that the ale turn this kind of dark, thick, black color. Like it almost looks like tar.
Oh no.
And then it then returns to its original ale-y color, amber ale color.
Right.
And yes, you've successfully poisoned the keg. As this happens, like you've now got a bit of an aerial view of the gnome village. There's the singing and dancing just stops. There's there's a drum beat and then a drum bang and then they all just stop and the gnomes just like freeze in place and stare towards a mushroom at the center of the village. And one of the gnomes steps forward. You notice he's got an ever so slightly longer beard, and he takes a step towards the mushroom, turns towards the crowds with a bang of a fishing rod on the ground. He looks. You assume he's like the village elder, and
Hear ye! Hear ye!
he calls out,
On this glorious and bountiful day, sponsored by Winniewood Green, from the village to the north, we celebrate the opportunity of expansion of our fair and noble gnomish kingdoms to the area occupied by the witch to the south. In
you say-
honor,
way.
Sorry, Dan.
Kill them all. Kill
Sorry,
them
Dan.
all.
Sure.
Could you say that again? My eardrums are still working. So,
to give us good blessings, we offer this sacrifice to our Lord and Savior, the Fun Guy.
Oh God. Have we got any more poison? Just dump another vial in there.
I am going to turn round and just do a little, shit in the hole at this point. Just a little rat turd in the hole. So no poison, but they have that.
Let the ceremonial banquet begin.
And you see a number of gnomes kind of step out of the dance ring. They've got unlit torches, and then ceremonial like flintstone bearers emerge as well. And you see them trying to like create sparks. So you realise that very, very soon this mushroom is going to go up in flames. So that's what you see. Well, you all see that realistically. We pick up with Widow and Maggie. So Maggie, you're up above. You've just been kind of watching this from a presumably like the roof of one of the gnomish huts.
Have I
I'm
got
just, like-
Widow with me?
Yes.
Like on
Can
my
I-
back.
Can I just be like clasped onto the front of you like the worst possible baby Bjorn?
Yes.
Sweet.
That's perfect.
Well, so
I like-
either Widow's with you, or Widow, while this has been happening, you've been scooting towards the mushroom on your.
I feel as if
I'm taking the air.
Let's take the aerial approach.
Yeah.
I feel like we have to land on the mushroom now that they're all crowded around it, so that you can do your thing. I'm not sure what I'm going to do now. I thought the whole point of me was to set the fire a bit early, but if they're already setting the fire, then I won't do that. Maybe I could sort of start dive bombing the gnomes starting the fire to make like an ill omen or something like that. I don't know.
Oh yeah, for sure. Or just like maybe like set some fires in some gnome houses
Oh,
in a minute.
Or shitting on
that'll
them.
get him.
Just shit on them.
Or
Just
shit
shit on them like a pigeon.
Just
you know,
shit on them, and then I'll set
release
some
your
houses on fire.
inner
Perfect.
pigeon. Yeah.
You could set the
Okay.
witch's hat on fire.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, that'll make them think that she's cursed as well.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Go, Widow. Go.
I'll release and like use a little web parachute to just gently land on top of the mushroom.
So you're landing on the top of the mushroom, yeah?
Yeah, I'm gonna scurry down to where the ropes are if
Okay.
I can, and try and magic them open.
Okay, so as you skitter along the top of the mushroom cap, kind of underneath it, and then that starts to go down the stalk, like you go largely unnoticed by the gnomes that are tied to the mushroom. And as you're passing between two of the, like passing over the heads of two of them as you're looking for the primary knot, you overhear like two of them saying,
Oh, I'm very excited. Oh, yes, so am I. I've never been burnt alive before. This is very exciting. Oh,
God.
and as you scutter along, you see the knot. It is a beautiful sort of like gift wrapped-esque bow of rope, and as you notice it, you all hear what sounds like a rhythmical drum beat, like a very Kalimar type affair. And yeah, the gnomes begin chanting. You're using your spell to undo the rope?
Yes, please.
Okie dokie. That sounds quite basic. So please give me a slide. You've kind of got, I think it's a slide check because you. Let's say a clever check.
Okay.
Because you've got
That's
no-
true. A knot is a complicated thing.
Yeah. So yeah, give me a clever check. Whilst you undo the ropes with your magic.
All right, Widow, you got this.
Oh,
Oh, I got this. 12.
Nice.
Wow. Okay, so yeah, as the gnomes are just like,
oh, yippee.
you waggle your arms around, and as you do so, you see this knot, like the rope threads start to kind of wiggle and move, and eventually the knot loosens and begins unraveling, to the point where the two bits of like the fabrics, as the rope starts fraying, the fabrics start waving around similarly to your spider legs. Yes. And the two ends of rope fall away from each other, and there's a proper like kind of motion. Like you've just pulled the thread on a sweater kind of thing. And as the rope starts slackening, there's a boom, 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 as these 6 odd gnomes suddenly find themselves subject to gravity, and they crash down and collide into the kindling wood around the base of this mushroom. And as they land there, you hear one of them go, "Oh no!" And there are screams of panic and distress from the gathered gnomes.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right, I'm going to start making my way back to the top of the mushroom, see if I can get a pickup.
Yeah.
So as that happens, Maggie, you can see like from your vantage point, absolute bedlam. The gnomes start just like dropping to their knees and like holding their hands up to the sky and wailing. Some of them start like bowing and praying in front of the mushroom. Forgive us! They start shouting as these gnomes kind of pick themselves up a bit confused from the base of the mushroom. The fungi is displeased. So are you doing a distraction, or are you picking up Maggie?
I'm picking up Widow. Yeah. I think we need to get them drinking again. That's surely the whole thing. We need to convince them to drink so that we can poison them all. So I'm going to pick up Widow and we're going to start hatching a plan for getting the drinking started again.
It sounds to me like you're going to have to be quick about this. So, give me a quick check. Again, it's dangerous because you're kind of in sight of the
it's dangerous, is it? Oh no, that's a +2.
Okay, so as you take this opportunity, you launch off the hut. You swoop down towards the mushroom cap. There's a moment where natural instinct kicks in as you see this spider.
Tasty.
I just see your eyes at the last minute. I'm like, no.
But yeah, you remember at the last, like you have to. You core as you kind of remind yourself of what it is you're trying to do, and as you kind of close your mouth, bring your talons up, and kind of gently grab this spider and kind of flit off, your core to reassert your cognitive power is noticed by gregarious Clump.
Oh dear!
I nearly slipped there, didn't I?
Clunt.
Who notices this magpie like flap to the middle of the mushroom, then kind of fly off, but he's also kind of looking at all these gnomes that are just like chastising themselves, like rolling around in the dirt, like wailing like infants.
God. Okay.
As it's
Sorry, Widow. Sorry about that.
I thought we talked about this.
I'm so sorry. I'm working on it.
Stinky, the witch hunter and witch appear to be distracted. What do you do?
I would like, in some sort of a way, what do you guys think? I want to see if I can get, because I'm guessing like they're sort of kind of like going, oh, what the hell's going on here? I'm guessing the witch hunter is still holding on to his drink, or whatever he had in his drink.
Maybe.
I want to get him. Go on, Dan.
Well, I was going to say, so the drink is currently on, like, propped up against the log that he was sitting on because he put it down when he was flexing.
Right.
So it's in reach, unless you're waiting for him to pick it back up.
I want to wait for him to pick it back up, because not only do I want him to hold it, I want to see if I can do something that will get him to spill it onto the witch. So he goes, whoa, onto the witch with his drink. Even though it's like a small amount, I feel like that's enough to annoy her.
Okay.
But the potion.
Do we want to go with the potion? I'm thinking
we could save the potion for
The love
For a rainy
potion.
day, could do.
I'm kind of thinking we want to get him to drink as soon as possible so that he is poisoned.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
an idea.
We're going to pivot. Okay, fair enough. In which case, yeah, so the witch hunter, like you hide as the witch hunter reaches down, picks up his thimble. And he sort of like stands there looking across all these gnomes. And yeah, it sounds like what like a daytime nursery would sound like if someone set off a stink bomb. Like the racket coming from these gnomes is horrendous and ear piercing. And Gregarious Clunks kind of looks over and wonder what the natives are whinging about. He says,
I hate this guy.
and he sort of like turns to look to the witch, and he does a thing where he kind of crosses his legs whilst standing, just to kind of strike a bit of a pose, and he's looking down. Do you speak Gnomish, Winnie? Do you know what they're saying? And like the witch looks concerned, and she looks up and they're speaking common, you twit. But yeah, he looks like his legs are together. If you wanted to, like, he's not steady on his feet.
Hmm.
Don't think there's anything I can do with the spell I have, because that's just to distract, confuse.
You could distract him in such a way that he loses his footing, perhaps, and like maybe just kind of. You could sort of make him think there's somebody all of a sudden on one side of him, so he goes, "Ugh," and like spills his drink.
Like a bee in his ear.
Considering that I have ferrets, I know what they're like when they're around feet. And they get in between and under all feet. So I'm gonna get Stinky to get in there and proper get under his feet to really try and trip him up.
Okay. That sounds... it sounds like you never really know that a ferret's about to do that, right?
Mm.
Okay, so yeah, give me a sly. It's dangerous.
Mm.
It's very dangerous.
It's very dangerous.
We're going to say that this is also challenging.
Mm. Okay.
Oh no.
Okay, so you look up, and as this witch hunter's kind of stood with his legs, his legs crossed, he's looking, he's talking to Winnie. You kind of shuffle out, and you're kind of you're waiting for a chance for his kind of legs to open up, so you can then scurry between them and trip him up. As he opens his legs to kind of to stand normally again, you take the opportunity, you dart between his feet, but unfortunately as he goes to do that, he kind of sways and stumbles, and he steps on you. And you he steps on your tail. There's a little and your tail starts kind of hanging limp.
No.
But the act of stepping on a live creature kind of makes him like shocks and surprises him, and he tips forward and collides with the witch. He's only got a thimble of drink, but she's got a goblet of wine. And and this red wine just splashes over her green top, like her green dress, and horrendously stains it. And she kind of goes tumbling backwards as he collides into her. They're both arse over tit, so you're able to sort of like limp away. You take another danger, and it's like you hear shouting and bickering from the witch and the witch hunter as he because he pulls himself up from her cleavage and yeah, the two of them begin arguing. Meg, we're back to you. So the gnomes are flailing about. You've poisoned and pooped in their drink. The witch hunter, Gregarious Clunt, and the witch have it looks like they're just starting some sort of intense rutting session. But there appears to be a lot of anger. And you see Stinky limping away from their log. What are you doing?
First, I'm going to go and retrieve my hat very quickly because the hat's very important. And then I'm following Stinky, making sure he's okay. And sort of if I can catch sight of Widow and Maggie to see if I can sort of hail them down so we can go and regroup behind a bush somewhere, just sort of out of the main clearing.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, so I mean, yeah, you see, Stinky kind of rendezvous with you, and yeah, by all means, you can wave down Maggie and Widow as they swoop past. You all reconvene behind one of the huts. You can just about hear the argument between the witch and the witch hunter over the din of the wailing gnomes. But you also hear them shout, you hear one of them shout. Sorry, but you hear the elder shout.
The sacrifice is for naught if the gnomes aren't attached. Quick, rebind them.
So, I actually think we should let them rebind them. We have caused a massive distraction, enough to set an argument off between Gregorius Clunt and his little hussy witch, Winnie. And we've also poisoned and taken a tiny little turd in their water supply. Okay?
Nice.
So, by my reckoning, if we now allow things to go back to normal, the gnomes will start drinking again because they'll be happy, and that'll give them enough time for everyone to get a nice little dose of rat turd poison, and then possibly see how that goes. I don't know whether that poison will be enough to poison 2 fully grown humans, so maybe we should incorporate the love potion at that point. What do you think?
I think it will at least weaken them, I suspect.
So yeah, you reckon that if you were to split the poison, and this is based off observations that you had when the witch was still alive. If you split the poison, you'll weaken the 2 of them, but it's enough for a single lethal dosage. It would seem. I'm just going to chuck this out there. So, you hear another gnome shout,
Oh boy, if anyone else fucks with our ceremony, we'll fucking kill them! Yay!
Can we somehow communicate enough with the gnomes to convince them that the witch hunter or Winnie means harm to their ceremony? Like, is there any way we can do that?
What if you set her hat on fire? That'd look like a pretty bad sign.
Okay, I can definitely set her hat on fire. Are we just gonna basically start making them act like lunatics? Just like set her hat on fire so she's like, ah! Distract, confuse him so he's like, ah! And then hopefully the gnomes will just like set up on them or something.
Any ideas, Biscuit?
So remember when we accidentally murdered a gnome earlier?
Yes.
What if we could convince the leader gnome that they killed the gnome? You know, we could bring him to the corpse
My God,
and make
that's genius.
gestures, like, point and then point at them and that they did it.
Yeah.
Maybe that would anger the leader enough.
Perhaps, yeah.
Or if we could make it extra believable if we can, I don't know, sort of steal something of the witch or witch hunters and put it on the body.
On the body, yes, I love that. I think that's really good.
Now we're talking.
Do you remember all those what they called CSI programs that our witch used to watch? Just like they do on the CSI.
Evidence. Yeah.
Oh, and the crystal ball.
Yes.
So one of the witch hunters things and one of the witches things, and then just litter them about the scene. Yes, body. It's very good.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
It's a heist, gang.
So returning into a heist. Okay, so who's going to nick something? So Stinky, you recognised that the witch hunter, Gregorius Clump, had a brooch of a profile of his own face.
Of course he did.
Stapled on his bare chest.
Yes.
No, on the shirt that is now on the floor.
Yes.
So...
Yes.
Ooh, maybe.
He's also got a nipple ring on which a medallion of the profile of his face hangs.
Oh god. No. Tell you what. I can whatever the witch has. If I set her hat on fire, it'll probably be a lot easier to steal it.
Yes.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Yes, it will.
Something the size of a brooch. I think I can just dip in there, grab it out.
So
I'll never see me.
in terms of the witch, one peculiar thing about her dress is it is festooned with a number of shiny gold buttons.
Okay. Definitely we could take one of those buttons, couldn't we?
So, what's the plan?
So I'm gonna set the witch's hat on fire.
All right. While I'm guessing Gregorius, being the clunt that he is
Yes.
probably going to try and be chivalrous because he's trying to get in her pants. So while he's doing that, I can probably scurry onto him and de-nipple ring him. Easy peasy.
Easy peasy.
Well, I mean, you could go for the
Can
nipple
you
ring.
cast
just also
open
happens.
close on a nipple ring? Maybe.
There is one on the shirt, but yeah, if you want to go for the
You
nipple
have
guess I
unseen
could-
hand. I could
I
just
guess
rip
I'll go
it.
for the. Oh.
Sorry, I
Let's
missed.
choose the violent option.
Sorry, run that by me again.
Oh,
I could use unseen hand to just rip it.
Oh.
What's your
No,
fear?
it's the eyes we need. The eyes, not his nipple. Nipples
true.
bring back wizards. That's what we
Nipples are the eyes of the chest.
Oh, very wise.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's really cool. So we can set the witch's hat on fire, and then
Then someone needs to steal the brooch. I would vote for the brooch that's on the shirt
I
that's
would
on the
vote for
floor.
brooch.
That
And
does
then
sadly make a lot more sense.
Someone does need to steal a gold button from the witch's frontage, which might be a bit harder.
So maybe if I try and get the button, because I'm probably the least visible of us.
Good
And
idea.
then maybe like Biscuit can just scurry over and grab us at the brooch or something.
Okay. But if I fail, I am going to try and rip his nipple ring out, okay?
Absolutely. We might want to do that later anyway, just to be safe.
Can Stinky distract or confuse someone?
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
I can. Well, who do you want me to distract? Do you want me to? If her hat's on fire,
She'll be quite distracted.
Already, but
There'll be-
he might need a bit of extra distraction.
yeah. What can
We
do
also
to
may-
distract him?
if
Besides some obviously
distraction-
magic?
Could distraction work the other way where you could, like, sort of beckon the leader over to you,
That's what I was thinking as well. That we need to beckon the leader over to the.
We need to separate him from the group.
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
So
Well,
first
that's
thing-
when we come to it.
First things first, then, I think the first step of this plan is to distract the witch and witch hunter. So, Julia, if you
Yes.
could, this, I mean, this sounds violent.
Okay.
Fierce.
I can roll fierce, that's fine.
Yeah, roll me a fierce, and we'll call it simple because this is just your hedge magic.
Okay,
Like, it's a
here
big
we
hat,
go.
so
It's a big hat.
easy
It's a nice,
to aim.
easy target. Okay, I'm going to try and make a flame on her hat. No, I don't.
Oh,
no.
no.
It's only a 2.
Okay, so you kind of concentrate, but there's a lot of noise, and like it's almost a perfect 1,000 hertz. Like it's piercing from these gnome
Yeah.
and as you and sort of like lift your wings up, a small flame kind of spits out and lands on the brim of the witch's hat as she kind of sits up and kind of starts dusting herself down. And the flame very quickly kind of catches. However, as the flame on the hat catches, so too does an errant flame catch on your tail feathers.
No, no.
No.
And as you kind of set yourself on fire a little bit, you have
Hopping
to,
about.
hopping around, bowling about, trying to pat yourself out. You gain 1 danger to take you up.
I do. Okay. Oh.
Um,
I'm on 2.
But
Oh, dear.
as you hear Gregarious Clunt, are you supposed to be on fire? I know you're hot and all. And
Ugh.
this witch just looks up, and she can't see because of the brim of her hat. But she kind of takes the hat off, and she and sort of like starts
I'm making a run for it.
waving her hat around. So in which case, Widow, as you kind of run across the village, you're going for the brooch or the button? You're going for
A button, please.
Okay, so yeah, she's flailing. The hat, as she's kind of waving it about, one of a bit of the hat that's flaming kind of peels off and kind of lands on her waistcoat, like on her pinny, and she kind of throws her jacket off, like rips the jacket open, throws it off as that kind of starts.
Oh, sweet.
Nice.
As she's flailing, like the witch hunter, Gregara's just kind of looking around in a panic. I'm going to need you to be quick about this.
Oh,
I feel.
okay. Let me check my quick.
So this is
Not
a
very good.
plus
No.
one. I'm going to say this is basic and it's dangerous.
Very scary, scary.
Yay!
Yeah, 10.
Okay, so you skitter between the crying gnomes. You scoot behind the log as this petticoat kind of lands on the grass. You manage to kind of sneak under the folds of the fabric and find one of the buttons that popped off when the witch tore the coat off, and then kind of holding it up with two of your legs to be able to kind of skitter away quick enough that by the time the witch hunter kind of looks down to pick up the coat, you're already gone.
Excellent.
Amazing.
So next
Good job.
is Biscuit.
Okay, I'm going in for the brooch. That's plan A.
Yes.
And that's in the shirt on the floor.
Okay, so you're alongside Widow as you kind of scurry across. I think I also need to ask for a quick in the same way I asked it for Maggie. For Widow.
Yep, we can do that.
So same again, basic difficulty. You ace it.
Nice.
So
Yep, that's a 10.
Sweet.
yeah,
Amazing.
two of you scoot in and you find this brooch on the pins to the witch hunter's shirt. You manage to.
Has the visage on the brooch got a slightly more chiseled jaw than
Yeah,
Gregarious actually does?
yeah, to the point where it almost looks like a pronounced underbite.
Okay.
I'm
enough.
absolutely imagining this dude as exactly Gaston from Beauty and the Beast.
Yes.
Perfect.
And so you managed to snag the brooch, kind of run away with it. You noticed that I think we decided you could read in the end, didn't we? But engraved on the back of this brooch as you're kind of carrying it away, you see in relatively small font, "Love, Mummy."
Ah,
I wonder if his nipple ring brooch has the same.
Love,
That's from
Daddy.
Daddy.
Okay.
Oh,
Flip it out.
Oh.
Let's go.
Let's go. So the two of you scamper back through the crowds. Sorry, the gnomes aren't wailing anymore. No, they're resolved. They're stoic. You can see the flint bearers trying to create a spark to light the torches, to light the mushrooms. You can see the gnomes are on the sacrificial gnomes are kind of propped up on little stools, so they can kind of press their arms against the mushrooms, so they could be tied up again. So you've got some time because they've got to be reattached first. But the three of you kind of reconvene with Stinky. You have a brooch. You have a button.
Perfect crime.
Do some of us want to scamper off into the woods to hide, to sort of, contaminate the crime scene, while Stinky kind of does a little wiggly dance to get the leader to follow him?
Yeah, good idea. Good idea.
we can head straight to the body,
We're heading. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that
which
might
I
be
totally
good.
did not kill. Total accident.
Okay.
Perish the thought.
In which case, you, the three of you scamper off. Biscuit, it's up to you to grab the attention of the elder. How are you doing it?
You mean Stinky?
Stinky, sorry, yes.
uh,
You're trying to grab the attention of the elder Stinky. So how are you going about doing it?
much like how Julia said, I think he's going to do his best ferret war dance that he can. He's going to
With the gnome hat on?
with the gnome hat on.
Okay. That sounds very fierce.
Yeah.
I think so. Sounds very, very fierce. I'm going to say this is...
Is it not an interact with humans? Is it clever? Or is it fierce?
Yes, Julia, I've only got a 0 on
He's
clever.
got a tiny
sorry.
brain.
Sorry.
And it was a war
Such a
dance.
tiny brain.
It's a war dance. It's a war
It was
dance. I take it all
dance,
back. I'm so sorry.
So you roll me a fierce check. I'm gonna say that this is, I mean, ferrets always do war dances, don't they? So this is basic.
My rolls haven't been great.
No!
That is a 5.
It's
Ooh.
not, at least it's not dangerous.
That's good.
No.
So the elder kind of looks up in your direction, and kind of can't quite see you through all of the gnomes. So the gnomes aren't kind of, actually, what are they doing? The gnomes aren't kind of doing that circular dance, like rotary dance that they were doing. They're now just kind of like, they're holding hands and they're just ominously swaying from side to side, chanting "Fan guy, fan guy." You and this elder's kind of looking over in your direction, but it doesn't seem like the war dance quite got his attention. But he has noticed you for sure.
Okay.
Oh, Maggie, maybe if you set fire to some leaves or something, they'll see the smoke from in the village.
Yes. Okay. So, what leaves close to the body?
Yeah, or maybe even his weird little fungusy remains will go up nice.
See, the thing that worries me is that there's actually no sign there was ever a gnome, right? Because we took the clothes and his body's turned to mushrooms. So we should probably take the clothes that we stole to disguise ourselves and just sort of
Oh yeah,
them
we
about the
should
clearing
definitely
around
return
the
them to the
mushrooms.
fungus pile.
Yeah.
We'll
Okay.
say that the three of you took those back.
Okay, that's all good. So I'm going to set fire to some leaves. I'm going to look for a little. If it's autumn, I'm going to look for a little handy mound of leaves, and I'm going to set fire to them.
Set fire to them.
Hey,
The wine is probably still there where we left it. Or did we leave it? Or did we take it with us?
I mean, you've also got a bottle of high-proof alcohol. You're looking at the label, and it moonshine. Okay, cool. I mean, that sounds very witchy.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I'm saving that for when we want to Molotov cocktail, Winnie and
Sure. Okay.
And my god,
Gustavo. What's his name again?
that sounds amazing.
Yeah, what is
How-
it?
Glorious clunt.
Clunt. Yes.
if we can sort of do basic reading, could we technically do basic writing as well? So I'm thinking if we could get Widow to either, I don't know, put like SOG,
did it.
save
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
nose, and then like a little pointed arrow towards the body.
Is there any? Is the gnome blood still like sticky enough that I can use this as paint?
Can we make it look like in his dying moments he used his own blood to try and spell out witch hunter, and then it kind of trails off halfway
Yeah.
through?
Oh,
GK.
hang on, I'm not confident in my spider spelling, and we have this like medallion, so I could do a picture of his face in the gnome's blood on the tree by copying this.
Yes,
Okay.
all of this.
Okay. So, in which
This
case,
is really dark.
this is so.
Are we just going to watch this witch hunter get pulled apart by tiny
Widow.
little gnomes?
That's the hope.
For you,
Before we Jonestown the rest of them.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, to be fair, Meg, you did put poison in the Kool-Aid. So.
Yeah.
So, Widow, you're at the crime scene. You're kind of looking around. You've got the brooch. The other two arrive with the clothes and they begin strewing them. I'm gonna need a clever check because you need to know sort of like where the optimum spot like that realistically could have happened. So you get the brooch, you press it into the sticky gnome's blood in this kind of mound of mushrooms, like monkey mushrooms, and you kind of rock at it a little bit, and then you're able to use the brooch as a stamp.
Oh, perfect.
Roll me a clever check. This isn't dangerous because you're kind of out the way.
Okay.
Nice.
11.
Oh, boom. Okay. So yeah, just kind of far enough away, just on a leaf, on a nearby leaf, and like it's sticky as you pull it away because it's starting to coagulate. But you can tell the chiseled jaw. It looks almost
Excellent.
like a prominent underbite.
If I can, I want to also like drag the skeletal fungusy remains of this gnome so that it looks like he's like pointing to it in his dying moments.
Okay, perfect. Right, so the three of you kind of go about kind of making the crime scene look more like an incriminating crime scene. Back at the camp, Stinky, you haven't quite got the attention of the elder, but the elder is kind of looking in your direction. What do you want to do on your second attempt?
Ooh, nick something from the ceremony and run off into the forest with it.
Yes. I think I'm going to have to do that.
That's a very good idea.
Okay.
A sacrificial dagger or something.
Well,
Or his
so
hat.
For his hat.
there's hat. So from where you're stood, you can see, say there's the flint stone bearers, there's the torch bearers. There are a number of gnomish hats. There appears to be a ritual barbecue fork.
Get the fork. I want the
yeah.
fork.
Well, that leader had that fishing rod as well. That might be carryable.
Got his
That fork would make a nice little eye pokey for.
It
for
really
later.
would
Yeah,
make a great.
it would.
Yes,
light
it would.
pokey.
Let's go for the fork
Go
then.
for the fork. Okay, that is so as you kind of stand up to peer down, and I think at full height you're probably just slightly taller than a ferret, and you've got your little gnome hat on. Sorry, you're taller than a gnome with your little gnome hat on. But give me a slide check.
That's a 9.
That is more than that is enough.
Yeah.
So you you stand up like silhouetted in the forest clearing, and then like a lightning bolt you zip in between the crowds of the swaying gnomes who are all chanting Fangai. And before the elder can react, like he watches as you break out of the circle, go up to the like this table, and there's some tongs, and there's a barbecue fork, and there's a bowl of butter, and you nab the fork, and boom, you're off.
Oh boy.
There's a cry from the elder, and Fungi has sent his avatar! Is displeased! You hear him shout. And the elder and a number of gnomes follow after you.
Yeah.
So, the three of you by the crime scene, you can hear, you see Stinky kind of zigzagging his way towards you with this barbecue fork in between his teeth. You can see that there's a number of, like, over the foliage, you can see a number of kind of pointed red hats kind of following after him. What are you doing? Are you just kind of making yourself scarce?
Yeah, I think Maggie's gonna sort of fly up into the branch of the tree and look down, and I'm happy to take anyone who wants to come with me up there.
Sure, yeah, I'll hitch right up.
Where's Biscuit going?
I'm gonna stay on the ground in the bushes just in case Stinky needs backup.
You're hiding. And then Stinky, are you kind of running past the location and hiding, or are you going to stand there like an ominous totem?
I'm gonna run up past the corpse, just around to the other side, so that then all the gnomes can see it.
Sure.
But I am just gonna mostly stand there and go like, "Where is everyone?"
Sure. Well, there's a point. Yeah, you look at the crime scene and you take a quick glance around, and oh my god, the witch hunter killed a gnome. Looking around.
When did this happen?
So as the gnomes approach you, you disappear and disappear into a bush and kind of hide. and you all hear like hap 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 halt. And from your vantage point, you see that this kind of little war party of gnomes stops at the between the roots of this tree, this piss-stained tree, and the elder kind of steps forward, and you see him kind of looking around, running his fingers through his beard with one hand, and kind of rubbing his thumb contemplatively on his fishing rod of office, and he's yes, it's definitely a gnome. And then he looks around and, well, what's this? And he kind of leans down and sees the mushrooms that have been arrayed in a line, seemingly like a finger pointing. And the gnome follows the direction and then sees this bloody stamp of a leaf, the witch hunter's face on a leaf. And
By Jove, we've been duped, lads! Back to the village, hurry!
and the gnomes turn and
Up, 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 up.
back to the village they go.
Right.
All right, let's
Hey.
move.
Stage 2 has been initiated. Let's go.
So you head back to the village. Are you kind of staying behind the gnomes, or are you taking a shortcut to try and get there before the gnomes, or?
I want to see what happens when they reach the witch hunter. I'm up for a shortcut.
Okay. Are you all happy with that?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, sure.
So, whereas the gnomes kind of take his curved route round the way they came, you kind of beeline directly through the forest, and you find a number of kind of vantage points where, like, the gnomes are kind of concerned. You see them kind of, there's like hushed whisperings as they kind of talk to each other, and you see some of them kind of pointing at this table that no longer has a barbecue fork on it, and some of them kind of looking over at the witch hunter and the witch, and they're still kind of bickering. And like the witch is desperately trying to get this stain out of her undershirt, and yeah, you hear hap, 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 as the war party returns. And there's as the elder bangs his fishing rod on the ground, and all 70 odd gnomes kind of close around the elder in this tight little unit. It's just a small forest of red hats.
What, just like a group huddle?
Yeah, group huddle. They all the hats come to a single point, and they start kind of discussing things. And then the hats kind of come back out. The gnomes disperse back into their rings. The elder steps forward and,
Gregarious Clint, you stand accused in the eyes of fungi of murder, heinous murder. You have taken the lives of one of our beautiful brothers. We're all brothers here. We are all children of fungi. You stand accused, and you must pay for your crimes. We demand, the crime is begotten from violence, so we demand a trial by combat with our finest champion.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
so as this happens, like, Gagaris just looks over and, I'm sorry, what? No. You clearly have it wrong. I come from a long, illustrious line of clunts, and I can tell you that I'm the best clunt that has ever graced this forest, and it's not me. You've got it wrong. This is discrimination. I'm not having it. And as this happens, a slightly rotund gnome whose coat doesn't fit over his belly steps forward with a small knife. He's got a pot as like a saucepan on his head as a helmet. and you hear this gnome shout out,
Face me, fiend!
I think he's gonna need a little help, guys.
This is where Stinky does bring out the love potion.
Why not? Can't make things worse, can it?
Sure.
I'm thinking if he falls in love with the gnome, he won't attack the gnome.
He won't be able to kill it, and then the gnome will
Oh,
stab
Yeah.
him. Yes.
oh how
I love this
ironic.
idea. I love this idea. Let's go. How are we gonna deliver the love potion to Gregarious Clunt?
Well, we
How
can
about
do-
you fly it in and just dump it in his eye?
I'm just gonna
I
dump
was
it in
gonna
his
say,
eye.
yeah,
Dump it in
dive
his
bomb him.
eye. Yes. Does it
Dump
work?
Why?
Does it work by eye?
I guess a lot. As long as
mean-
it gets in the body.
it's in a little glass vial,
Widow,
right?
widow,
So if you just-
widow. What do the instructions say on the love potion?
Okay, I'll do my best to read the instructions.
Methods of ingestion.
Well, I mean, because you transferred it, it's only got a love heart on it. But I mean,
Ah.
by your reckoning, I mean it's in a fragile glass vial, and this thing just needs to be kind of in the body to work, right? So, if you somehow, I don't know, if you smash the vial against him hard enough to penetrate skin,
My goodness.
Bite him. We could bite
I
him
could-
first.
I'll put it on my little tiny fangs.
Someone, yes, put it on your fangs. Do it.
okay.
Wouldn't be
Is-
the first time I've made someone fall in love.
So, is this a plan? Is Widow scooting up and kind of biting?
This femme fatale spider. I love it.
Okay. In which case, this is dangerous.
Do you want to maybe drop me on him, Maggie? Just so that.
yeah, I'm gonna drop
Okay.
Widow. Widow can do her thing.
In which case, first up, we're gonna need. So we'll do this as a twofer. We'll do a
Yeah.
quick check for Maggie, dangerous, and we'll call this
Sure.
basic. We'll do a sly for Widow. But that will be challenging because you're going to be on the witch hunter as you try to bite him.
That's fair.
If I can get you two to roll, and bear in mind you've both got danger on you, so
We
Don't
do.
roll
I've
low.
got two. I've got two, and you've got one, haven't you, Tim?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
All right.
Oh, phew! It's a 9.
I'm gonna
okay. So
apply the
you,
love potion like some lipstick.
so Widow,
My
you
fangs.
mount up on Maggie, and Maggie kind of swoops, like gets some height and swoops down towards the witch hunter. The witch
Right.
hunter looks up.
I do a flyby, and at the opportune moment, drop Widow onto his face,
Ah!
or maybe the back of his neck, or something.
Yeah, maybe the back of
Whatever
his neck. I don't. I
yeah,
don't want him. Ideally, I don't want him to see me.
back of his neck.
Okay, make your roll. This would be challenging. So we need an 8.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so
Kiss from the widow.
so as this magpie flies over Gregarious Clunt's head, and he kind of looks and watches it go over, you kind of, because spiders can drop from any height, right? So you just naturally kind of parachute down onto the back of his neck because he's topless, right? And you land on him. He doesn't notice. And whereabouts on him are you biting?
Oh, where have I landed?
So you've landed on his shoulder, and he's looking the other way. So
Okay.
you can do it anywhere around
Yeah,
the neck
I want it
area.
into him as soon as possible, so I'm going to try and get to like his neck,
It's jugular.
Yeah, get
Yeah.
right in an artery.
right into his little carotid.
Okay.
I mean, I probably can't get that deep, but I'll do the best I can to
Sure.
jab it into him.
Okay. In which case, you skitter up to sort of like the bulge on his neck, and then you do a little bite. Your fangs effortlessly sink through the skin, and he kind of swipes at you a little bit. You manage to kind of skitter away and then jump off his shoulder. And he's sort of like, kind of rubbing his neck as he looks down. He's looking at, and the first thing he does is he turns and looks to the gnome as he's rubbing his neck, and like he looks, and you see this look of confusion spread across his face as the stroking of his neck is slow. And he,
Oh no.
well, you, do you come here often? And as that happens, you hear a little of a whistle, and like the trial by combat begins.
Oh no.
You watch as this little gnome runs forward, and like as the witch hunter kind of about like leans down and who's a cute little, and like gets down on one knee to hug this gnome, and the gnome leaps at the last moment, eyes wide, and jams his knife into the witch hunter's neck, and he but why? Shouts Gregarious.
My love.
Whilst this is happening, like the witch behind Gregarious is looking around frantically, and she notices, like she's just seen this magpie fly overhead. She notices that a spider jumped off of Gregarious Clump's like shoulder a second ago, and then she also sees, watching from afar, is a rat and a ferret. And like the witch's eyes narrow, and as Clunt is on the ground, as this gnome leans in and feel it, starts like stabbing this witch hunter in the bare shoulder, and like the witch hunter stands, and the gnome's kind of attached to him, kind of like crawling around his body, stabbing into goes. Yeah, Winnie looks to you, and I knew it, she says. And she catches, like, sees the four of you. What's Biscuit gonna do? The witch, the rival witch has noticed you. And and while this is happening, the gnomes are like "Fangai, Fangai," and like cheering their champion. He damages Gregarious Clump.
Can I distract her in a way so at least we can sort of get out of her line of sight? Maybe it hasn't worked so well before, but can I try and use unseen hand to just like yank the back of her hair? Or if she's got any like nice jewelry, then like just like fucking. I just really want to yank some jewelry out of someone, you know?
Rip it and rip it.
She's wearing earrings.
Yeah.
Yeah, the earrings are coming out.
Okay, so this, I mean,
that's horrible when that happens, isn't it? Like,
thing is, that sounds quite fierce, I feel. So, you're going to need a fierce check. You're on 1 danger. I'm going to say that this is, because it's a small object, so I'm going to say it's basic, if you want to do that. So you'll need a 7 to pass, but don't roll a 1.
Okay, all right. Oh, now you've said don't roll a 1. Oh.
Okay.
But that is a straight 3. I've got 0 fierce.
Sure. So you kind of, like, you see this witch looking at you, and as you kind of hold out a little ratty paw and kind of use the force, you see the earring kind of, her ear starts pulling towards you. At that moment, she realizes that you're using magic, and she clicks her fingers and dispels the spell, and her ear kind of returns.
Would that be another danger for Meg?
Is a fail, big and party. Yes, so make her up to 2 danger now.
Okay.
Yes, Stinky, what do you do? And she turns to look at the witch hunter for help, and then he's just on the floor, flailing as this toddler-sized creature just rips him to shreds.
Love will tear you apart.
Stinky, you've seen that Biscuit's magic has just kind of been repulsed. What do you do?
I'm trying to think that Stinky might try and cast some of his magic to distract her. I'm not completely sure what he would do, though. Any ideas, guys?
So...
maybe you could create a visage of our witch to kind of haunt her and make her think, oh, what's she doing here? I thought she was dead. And that will just be like enough to sort of really freak her out, like a ghost.
Can I do that, Dad?
Yes, you may.
I will give that a go then.
Okay, so this is depending. You get to choose on a 1 to 5. Like choose 1 to 5. 1 being like least convincing, 5 being most convincing. How accurate a depiction of the witch are you making? Of your witch are you making? Then that will dictate the difficulty. So,
Okay.
like, if you say if it's basically a Minecraft character, then that'll be a 6. But if it's just like a perfect visage, then that'll be near impossible, kind of thing. So,
Okay.
where do you want to aim? And then we'll say that's the difficulty.
What trait will I be using for it? Do you think?
You'll be using. Thing is, it is clever, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the problem.
Ooh.
You could make it ghostly, so it doesn't have to be like fully
Yeah.
detailed, but it's like ooh.
So about a 3. Should we go with a 3?
So that'd be an 8. Challenging.
Oh boy.
Oh my gosh.
My rolls haven't been
Can
great.
do it,
anyone
Stinky.
help? Is anyone possible? Can anyone help Stinky? I don't know. I know there's no help action technically in this RPG.
Any
However,
fire that possibly with a smoke or something?
Ooh.
Also, would I don't know if that's too difficult. Then would you just be able to like magnify your stench using your magic to
Could actually magnify my stench.
severely distracting levels?
Make her gag. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Do it.
Let's do that.
That
Do it.
sounds more like fierce.
Yeah. Go on.
Assaulting the senses. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're making yourself stinky, that's I'm gonna say to the level that makes her retch and gag, makes everyone retch and gag. I'm gonna say that's challenging. So you need an 8, and your fierce is 2. And this is dangerous. Oh!
The power of stink!
The power of
My
stench.
beautiful smelly boy.
As someone who has smelt the relieved anal glands of a ferret before,
Oh.
this is the stench that emanates, and it is like gone off eggs that has fermented in a pile of like old cheese for about 3 days in the sun, and and mix that with sort of like that like chemical like smell that comes from stink bombs, and that's what emanates from Stinky, where he has the biggest sort of like fear spray that he can think of.
Do you
All
just
8 of
spray
my
it
eyes are like
all up her?
watering.
Yeah.
So hang on, are you
Right in her
kind of
face.
running forward and doing a skunk impression? Or are you just kind of looking at her, locking eyes, and then
Yeah.
just
Yeah, pretty much just like that.
okay? In which case, next to you, Biscuit. I mean, you're a rat. You've been in some pretty rank places, but even you. I've never seen a rat gag, but that's what you're doing. But
Poor
as this-
Biscuit's like perfectly coiffed whiskers just start frazzling.
Maggie, you realise what's happening, so you're able to get altitude. Because it looks like the stench is heavy enough that it sticks to the ground.
And to everyone.
Yes, but you can almost whilst the stench is invisible, you can almost see its progress as it moves through the village like a silent killer. Because in unison, this one by one, the gnomes just kind of stand there and they're all kind of chanting for their champion, but they all just kind of stop one by one, and then in unison. And they start vomiting on the floor, on the gnomes around them. The stench hits the champion, who's kind of holding the ears of the witch hunter and just headbutting. And then he stops, looks up, there's dongs from the saucepan, but he stops, looks up, the nostrils flinch, then
into his mouth.
Gugaro said, vomited in the gnome vomit in the mouth, then gets a stench. He starts throwing up. And
Oh.
the last, Winnie looks around just utterly perplexed, and then she she starts retching and kind of doubling over. She doesn't vomit, but she's kind of staggering around. She's like, her knees immediately go weak and flimsy. Whilst this happens, like one of the vomiting gnomes, one of the flint bearers, like the violence of the retching manages them to hit the flints together hard enough that it creates a spark, which then lights one of the nearby torches, which is dropped by the gnome that was holding it, who is now rolling over in his own puke. There's a lit torch. The gnomes attached to the mushroom, they're just projectiling out. But you notice that the mushroom is primed. Winnie is incapacitated. What do?
Who's got the alcohol at the moment?
It's Molotov time, I think.
My God, it's Molotov
I think
time.
it's Molotov. I'm quick enough to scurry up, I think, and get the torch and run it. If someone can douse that mushroom, as I do, we're all good.
Wait, we're dousing the mushroom?
Well, if she's near the mushroom, maybe she'll go up with it. Or are we dousing her? Let's douse her.
I think we're burning the witch. We're literally
burn the witch! Alright, I'll spin a bunch of web around the neck of the bottle that you can hopefully set fire to.
Yes.
Okay.
Or we smash it on her.
And then you smash it, whoosh. Yeah. Off she
Smash
goes.
and whoosh.
Okay,
right.
So I'm gonna
smash and whoosh, smash and whoosh.
I'm gonna need a clever check from Widow to kind of make a substantial fuse.
6.
Okay, that's fine. It's a simple task because it's what spiders do. So this bottle of moonshine ends up with a silken fuse. So you have a Molotov.
Yeah.
Who's grabbing the torch?
I can try and grab the torch.
Okay, so that's going to be I think that's going to be a sly check because the gnomes, whilst distracted, are trying to use the torch to set the mushroom on fire. So give me a sly check.
It's okay.
This will be.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no!
Okay, so as you try to make your way to the torch, you kind of slip over in some of the gnome vomit, and then you just can't. It's really oily, and you just.
Oh, why is it oily?
The torch remains unclaimed. Who between Maggie and Stinky? Who's going for it?
I can go. I can run for it.
You Stinky go.
Okay, Stinky. It's also going to be a slide check as you try to jump from gnome head to gnome head.
No, that's a 5.
Oh no!
Oh.
So the torch is just kind of sat out in the open. And Maggie, you notice that Biscuit and Stinky have both kind of gotten caught up in the ruckus of flailing, vomiting gnomes.
Do we need the torch? Because I've got make flame, so I could just try and light the wick and then chuck it at the witch.
So how are we? So Maggie, it's at the moment it's you and Widow who are kind of like capacitated. So what are you doing? Because you've got to get the bottle to the witch, and then you've got to set fire to it.
So, like we can fly it over there, and then set fire to the wick, fly it over there, and then fling
and drop it on her. Just firebomb her.
Drop it from quite a height, so it hopefully smashes on the ground right next to her and splashes her with the fiery alcohol.
Okay, so in this moment with the panic around you, we're gonna need so setting fire to something I'm gonna say is fierce. The two of you are far enough away that we're gonna call this a basic move.
Yeah.
So please make me a check. You are on 2 danger.
Yeah, and I've got a +1 to my fist. So if I roll a 1, I'm done. Okay.
What are we rolling?
It's a 7, so I've got an 8.
Nice.
Okay, so you light the
Yes.
fuse, and the silk web starts burning surprisingly quick because there's a lot of it, but it burns quickly. Widow, are you riding with?
So I'm thinking maybe the best way for us to carry this is if you grab my back with your talons, and then I'll wrap my legs around the bottle, and then when it's time, I'll just
you've
release.
got to choose the correct time to release. Yeah.
Okay. In which case, as you swoop down, you light the bottle, you grab Widow as you take flight and just like swoop in towards Winnie. I mean, this is looking like the ending of Top Gun. And Widow, you're the one who's got to gauge this, so I'm gonna say that's a clever, because you've got to get the trajectory just right so as you go over. So
I don't think spiders can sweat, but I'm sweating.
this is challenging. So please make me a clever check.
+2 to this.
And it's dangerous.
9.
Yes! Burn the witch! Burn
The
the
witch.
So as this happens, Stinky and Biscuit, you manage to kind of like pull yourselves out of this like horde of flailing gnomes, just in time to see this magpie swoop over Winnie. She kind of looks up, she looks up slightly paler than she was a second ago, just in time to watch this bottle of moonshine that happens to have your witch's face printed on it.
Yeah.
And it like hits in the side of the face. The bottle cracks, and as the last of the flame disappears down in through the cork bottle, she screams as the glass pierces her skin, and then there's a whoomph as she goes up in flames.
Yes.
As she wails, as she flaps around, and the flames kind of engulf her as the moonshine soaks into her clothing and kind of splashes around her. She stumbles a little bit, kind of reaching out for things, and gnomes just kind of picking themselves up and kind of staying away. But she ends up tripping and falling onto the mushroom. And in doing so, the mushroom goes up in flames. And you hear six gnomish voices going, "Yay!" as they're engulfed in fire. And as her screams peter out, like their screams go on for a while, but eventually they begin to peter out. And the gnomes are just sort of like cheering, they're dancing, they're doing their circular dance as their sacrifice to fungi is completed. Winnie has been killed. You turn over and look, and Gregarious Clunt has been reduced to giblets. And you see a number of the gnomes with kebab skewers, like small sticks, just putting chunks of Witch Hunter onto meat skewers, just like putting them up and like holding them near the roasting mushroom. The only bit that's left of him is basically his head. Like they've just carved bits, like the champion just carved bits off him.
Stinky! Get those eyes!
I think he's going to hold up the fork
Yes.
and rush over there to sort of pluck out the eyes.
Okay, so you manage to pluck out Gregarious Clunt's eyes, and as you kind of like the gnomes are just fully obsessed with this like wicker mushroom effigy in front of them, and as they sort of like cheer, the elder goes. You hear the elder proclaim,
"Our Lord is pleased with us! Bring the drinks!"
he shouts. And you watch as thimbles are distributed throughout the village, and as you kind of watch from the precipice of the village, you all see these gnomes.
To fungi!
The fun guy.
They all take swigs, and they go, "Yay!" And they all start exploding into blossoms of mushrooms throughout the village.
Is it like at the end of Lemmings when the timer runs out and they all go like this and then?
And
How did this become genocide?
As the four of you stride away from the village, silhouetted by the
Get
flames and the
away.
sounds of gnomish bodily explosions, not looking back in the direction. You return to your hut using the witch's spellbook and Gregaris Clump's eyes. You manage to resurrect your witch. And as her eyes flutter open and she looks to you all with a knowing smile, and she offers arms out to give you all hugs. We will call it there.
Yay!
Yay! That was amazing.
Congratulations, everyone,
So
on
good.
completing The Witch is No Longer Dead.
Yay!
Amazing.
Well done, everybody.
Good work, team.
Oh, that was so much fun.
Yeah, that was
There you go, Dan.
flawless.
We only got a little
So
bit.
violent.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Oh my goodness.
So,
Brilliant.
yes, thank you everyone for playing, and thank you all for watching. If you like what it is that we do here, we've got loads of other videos very similar to this, and we've got longer term campaigns as well. So if you like this, make sure to hit the like button and leave some comments below on who you thought was the most violent of the four down below. And if you want to see more stuff like this, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon for notifications of when we release stuff. Just to say thank you to our players again. So Nate, tell us a quick little bit about Rough Sketch and where we can find you.
Yep, you can find us at roughsketch.online, where you can find all our podcast episodes. You can also find us on all pretty much most social media. So Twitter, Instagram is pretty much where we're most vocal. You can find that at Rough Sketch Podcast. And if you just want to find me, you can find me at NJ Adam Art on most things.
Marvelous. And yes, thank you to Tim and Meg for coming along, and thank you to Julia for playing as well. This has been Witch is Dead, and we will see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye!
Take care.